Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. This is SideQuest and I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks to improving the role-playing experience at a tabletop game. Now today we are going to be going over character creation and how you can utilize a background to really produce a unique character that stands out from the rest of your party and can be incorporated into the primary campaign. Now I have with me the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Player's Handguide. This thing has a wonderful wealth of information that can cover anything from your character's class, their race, their backgrounds, some of the tools they can utilize, their skills, all of that is useful here. Now, in this book, there is a segment on backgrounds, and each background can be catered to your individual class and come with a variety of personality traits that you can use for your character. And it does recommend that you roll specific dice to randomly obtain some of these personality traits. I will go over my personal favorite. I love playing the rogue type character. My personal favorite is the thief. Not necessarily a combat role, but more of the negotiator of the team. And so with that, they have two general backgrounds for the rogue, one being the charlatan, the other being the criminal. For the charlatan, you have a table here for rolling your favorite schemes. Now, you take a d6 or a six-sided dice, you roll that, and depending on what you get, you can get I cheat at games of chance, or I put on new identities like clothes. These are great for people who love to try and swindle everybody out of their money, their information, or whatever valuables they might have. This book is fantastic. For personality traits, you can have I have a joke for every occasion, especially occasions where humor is inappropriate. I know a lot of friends that are like that, myself included. Let's see, we also have ideals that you can look into, whether you're more independent, or if you have a problem with fairness, you have an issue with charity, creativity, friendship, or aspirations. What kind of bonds do you have, and what is your flaws? This book is wonderful. There is so much information you can utilize, but there's only so much that it can really offer before everybody's character is developed in a very formulaic way. Whereas the most useful tool that I have come across and have used multiple times is what I refer to as the 6-question rule. Now, the 6-question rule is: where were they born? Who were their parents and what happened to them? What were they doing before the adventure? Why did they leave? Who or what did they leave behind? And what do they want in life? These are wonderful little questions that can create an excellent background for any character of any class, race, creed. The first question, however, I would highly recommend talking to the game master ahead of time. The game master will likely have created an entire world for you and your players. Well, your party. An entire world for you and the rest of your party. You want to talk with them and find out what kind of setting that is, whether it's sci-fi, high fantasy, or more medieval. On top of that, knowing where your character is born will have a drastic difference and a drastic change on how they view the world around them. You're not going to have a person that views the world the same that lived in the city as a person that came from the country. You're not going to have a person that has the same worldview as somebody who was raised working in an iron mine or a fishing village. Depending on where they came from can have a drastic change on their outlook on the world around them. Who were their parents and what happened to them? You can have all sorts of things. This is where your story comes really into light. Because you can have a person whose family is still happy and healthy. They run a store. You just left because you wanted to expand on the family trade, or you want to utilize what you've learned from your parents and your siblings on the grander world. Maybe they didn't live such a happy life, and the game master's big bad came in and has affected you and your family in some way. How strong of a family tie does your character even have? Are they the black sheep in the family? What were they doing before their adventure? Now, the issue a lot of people have when creating a backstory is that they make their characters do far too much for what level that they are starting at. So it's a good idea to look at the characters' levels as the amount of experience that they've had in life. A level 1 character may have gained a reputation by fending off wild animals or helping fight off a fire in their town, but would not necessarily have gone out and done an adventure on their own. Maybe, at most, they rescued themselves or a sibling from a kidnapper. A level 2 character, on the other hand, may be more of a person who has served in the military and has done a few missions, or a mercenary that has a few jobs under their belt. A level 3, you get the idea. Why did they leave for this adventure? What was so important that they were willing to give up their job, their lifestyle, their livelihood, to go on an adventure with a bunch of complete strangers? That's up for you, the player, to decide. I would personally look at it under your own real-life experiences. Why have you left your past jobs? Was it due to a disagreement with your boss? Well, what if you were your own boss, and somebody came up to you with a proposition of going on a wild adventure with no promise of any real gains? Why would you do that? Why would you join in? Who or what did they leave behind? This is tied very strongly with their family, their past, their home. It almost answers itself. And then lastly, what do they want to gain out of this adventure, or what do they want to gain in life in general? What do they want? This ties into the ever-prevalent story of somebody wants something badly and is having a hard time getting it. This usually applies to the villains, but I honestly think it could apply to a player very easily and very well. Your character wants to achieve their own statue at their hometown to regain the honor that your disgraced soldier of a father or brother had lost. Maybe they just want some treasure to revive the family business. Maybe they want to extend life. Maybe they want to help others. This all ties in with what your character wants. It doesn't have to be necessarily something physical, but it does help. So in conclusion, what is this, an essay? So, after you've created your story, after you've had your background set up and have it tied to your class, your race, your pre-made player's handbook story, you can really work and get in good inspiration with these 6 questions. And because of that, your characters will seem much more inspired and much more creative and unique. Now, with that said, I wish you the best. With that said, I wish you the best, and I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, thank you for joining me.
And if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like, subscribe, and be sure to ring that bell for notifications. I will be posting videos once or twice a month, depending on work. Also know that you can go on a side quest by following us on Mixer, where other members of SideQuest gather together, play games, and just chat. Links are in the description below.